Hello everyone and welcome back to Just Finish Coding. This is part 9 of our 3D Elf Run series which we're making on Scratch 3. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Just finished coding.
Now I have to interject here that if you've not watched parts 1 to 8, please watch them before you come here, because as you can see I'm picking up from where I left off, and for this video to make sense you need to watch the previous ones. I will leave a card for you right here. Please watch the videos and then come right back. If you're still here, then this is going to be the last and final video in this series, and by the end of this video you should hopefully have your entire game ready. So in this video I'm going to fix the score glitch which we saw in the previous video, and I'm also going to be finishing up all the sound effects which we're going to need within our game. Now I have to warn you here that in case I play the sound effects, YouTube is going to take my video down. So what I'm going to have to do is mute all of them, and as a result you're not going to hear any of the sound effects on my computer while I'm speaking in this video, but you should hopefully have the results coming in from your computer which will confirm whether everything is working fine or not. So the first thing I'm going to do is to head over to the player, and I'm going to change one small thing within our move by endliens function, and that is to make sure that this only happens if the game over variable is set to no. So you can duplicate that condition and throw in all of this within that. So you can put it like this. And next you can head over to the stage and get into the sound updates. And I know we don't have that yet. So now it's time for you to make a block called sound updates. And you don't really have to run without screen refresh. You can just click OK. So now we can drag this down. And what we can do here is just throw in sound updates after we are done with our score updates. So first thing we need to do is to recognize how long our sounds are, okay? So if you look at the first one, which is, this CMYK song, which is going to be, the main game sound effect. This is what's really going to be the background music while the game is going on. It's about roughly, 125 seconds long. And if you look at this, which is Christmas time, which is going to be the introduction, I believe. This is going to be just for about 359 seconds. I'm going to use the number 359, but what I'm really referring to is when the song ends. Okay, so now you can head back to your code and you can grab two if thens. Okay, so first grab if then, and now you can duplicate this once more to make them 4. Now you can put all of this here, and the first if then we're going to have is if sound status, and I know we don't have that variable yet, so it's time we created it. And this is going to be a global variable, so we can make sure it's set up for all sprites. We don't have to do that if we're doing it in the stage, so I'm going to do it this way. So sound not effects, sound status, and this is going to basically store what sound we are currently playing. So we don't have to set sound status to anything as of now. We'll get into that in a second, but we can just check here if sound status is equal to set1, and I know we haven't set set1 yet, but we will get into that. Okay, so hold on. So if sound status is equal to set1, then this is going to be what is happening when the game has started. Okay, so here we're going to have the C by MK sound effect playing, but before we start playing that sound effect, we need to make sure that all the other sound effects are stopped. So you can put a stop all sounds here, and then you can just drag and drop this start sound, and we can play CMYK. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to set the sound status to 1, because this is just going to be a short step before we switch it, so that we have all the sounds already stopped. So now we can say set sound status to 1. And basically we have 4 different sound statuses which we can have. One is going to be set1, one is going to be hit car, one is going to be 1, and the other one is going to be 0. I'll get into what each of those things do, don't worry about it. But as of now, it's very important you add in a reset timer here, because this is going to be the one which starts counting down, and we have to replay the song once this particular music is over. So I'm just going to put that on a loop basically, if you want to think about it. But anyway, let's continue. So the next case we're going to do is if sound effect is equal to hit car, and I may say sound effect instead of sound status sometimes, just bear with me. So in case this is the case, then once again, what we will do is we will stop all the sound effects, and after this, we need to start the sound smack. And I don't think I mentioned that here, but basically smack is the sound when the player hits the card. Okay, since the sound effect or sound status is hit card, you probably guessed that. So we can say start sound, and all we have to do is say smack. So the next thing we can do after we start the sound smack is to start the sound Christmas time is here. And remember that after we've smacked the car, we're going to reset the game. So this is going to be the sound which we're going to have at the intro of the game. So start the sound, and next we are going to do the exact opposite. So now we're going to set sound status to 0, and then now we're going to do, whatever we have for sound status 0. Once again, it's important you have a reset timer, which is crucial to starting the sounds all over again when the sounds or the background music gets over. So next, the third case is going to be if sound status is equal to 1, and in this case I'm going to have an additional AND operator, and this is where we start to get our counting down so that we can loop the background music. So here we're going to have if the timer is greater than 125, okay, which is the duration of this particular sound, which is CMYK. And if the timer is more than that, then all we have to do is restart that sound all over again. So I'm going to say start sound, and I keep clicking on looks instead of sound. I'm not sure why that is the case, but we can just start sound CMYK, and after that we can reset the timer once again so that this thing works perfectly the next time this happens as well. Last is going to be the sound status 0, and it's so similar that I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm going to change sound status to 0, and in this case the timer needs to be more than 359. That's going to be the last, not 559, 359. That's going to be the last second when the song is still playing, and in this case we have to play Christmas time is here, and that would be pretty much all you need to have in this particular script. Okay, so now you can scroll up, and this is where our score bug starts to come in. Okay, so in order to make sure our score doesn't change by 1 after the game is over, all we have to do is add in one more condition, and this time we can put a not equals to. Okay, so if the score, if the sound status is not equal to, and we have to understand what the sound statuses are, but basically 0 is going to be when the game hasn't started yet, which is where the bug is. So if the sound status is not equal to 0 along with all of these conditions, only then do we change this. Okay, so you can put an and throw in all of this code just the way I did it right here, and you can put it back within the if then. So next we need to have a bunch of, a little bit more code within the inits to make sure that our game starts properly. So first we need to make sure that we start sound Christmas time is here, because that's going to be the intro sound effect, or background music, whichever way you want to think about it. And after that, I'm going to reset the timer to make sure that our timer works properly, and then I'm going to set the sound status to 0, because 0 is going to be the thing before the game, and 1 is going to be the sounds that are happening during the game. Okay, so all of this is set up, but we need to make sure we activate them. So we can head over to the obstacles first and go to the clone updates, where we have the collision. And in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say set sound status. So set sound status to hit car. Okay, and next I'm going to head over to instructions, and this time after we set the score back to 0, or rather before that, what I'm going to do is set sound status to set 1. So set sound status to set 1, and that will be pretty much it. So now if we finally run our code, you can see that boom, all our sound effects work properly. And once my elf hits one of the cars, the score no longer glitches and changes by 1, and it starts back from 0 the next time. So before I end this video, what I'm going to do is finish up with the thumbnail, which is going to be the last thing. So as of now, you can see that when we press the green flag and then the stop button, it's kind of irritating to have an image like this. Or if we, play and press the stop button abruptly, you can see that this image looks pretty ugly. So what I'm going to do is make sure it switches right back to the thumbnail, and all I have to do is add in a couple of lines of code. Okay, so first of all, when we receive init and I'm going to make sure the thumbnail is shown right here. So I'm going to say go to front layer, and when we do this, you can see that it's going to cover up everything, and this looks pretty decent. So I'm going to go to whatever its X and Y position is, which is 0, 0, and I will also add in a go to front layer. So next I'm going to grab once again a game tick. So grab a game tick, and I'm going to keep going to the front layer. But what I'm also going to do in both of these cases is set the ghost effect to 100. So say set ghost effect to 100, and because of this you can no longer see the image and it's going to be completely transparent. So we can do the same thing here as well, and that is going to be it. So now when we press the green flag and press the stop button again, you can see that boom, our thumbnail comes right on top, and when we press the green flag it hides, because Scratch, when the green flag is on, all the effects are going to be in progress, but when we press the stop button, the effects stop and they all reset to their official effects. So in case of the ghost effect, it's going to be not transparent, which is 0, and that's why we can see the image right here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be your entire Elf Run game. As you can see, I have a neat and working model, and I do hope that you have the same as well. If you've enjoyed this game series, please make sure you click on the playlist on your screen right here, and that'll take you to a brand new games segment. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next series.